Welcome to the Your Company Health podcast. I'm your host, Andre Wright, founder and CEO of the Wright Consult Digital Marketing Agency, and also the creator of the Patient Buzz program. The goal of this podcast is to highlight healthcare professionals, their journey, and how they're making the world a better place. Let's dive in. Today, we're speaking with Melinda Holmes, a LinkedIn growth specialist, on the importance of having the best strategy on LinkedIn and how you can utilize LinkedIn to drive growth in your business. Take a listen. So tell me about you and your business and what you do and,
Yes. So I kind of found this trade by accident. I was actually, I signed up for a certification program last year because I was doing customer service consulting, and I really wanted to break into LinkedIn and really learn how to really be productive and monetize on LinkedIn. And I found that the certification program was very effective to the point where I've been in the customer service industry for pretty much like almost 20 years. So I said, you know what, this is a great way to help small businesses be able to learn how to really utilize LinkedIn in a smart way, in a way that doesn't take up a lot of time where they're hitting a brick wall. And I said, this will be a good opportunity for me to do something different. So I decided to slowly pivot from the customer service consulting to to helping small businesses, especially businesses that provide a B2B service where their clients are actual business, and help them to basically create a great presence on LinkedIn so that they stand out from the competitors. And a lot of it is about engagement. Like it's not enough to just get 100 likes or 200 likes. It's like, okay, I got those likes, but how do you turn those connections into clients? Or how do you engage to build partnerships and really build a community on LinkedIn? So pretty much that's what I do. I help businesses learn how to better engage on LinkedIn, how to create that presence so that they're attractive on LinkedIn and they stand out, and helping them with their posts. Like, I don't write posts for my clients, but I pretty much help them to create a strategy so that their posts get better exposure and connect with the right people.
And
Yeah.
Melinda, you're right on point. You brought up a really good point about engagement, because there's this big thing up with these vanity metrics. Sometimes you speak with clients and they're like, well, I have all these followers and then I'm getting all these impressions, but when you look, they're not getting any clients. So you mentioned that you help clients get that engagement. So how are some of the strategies that if you could pinpoint one or two?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it varies by client, but a lot of it is really the first part is the image, right? Because we all look at the image, and pretty much your profile is your image. So I make sure that their profile is optimized, it's worded correctly, it has the right type of messaging so that it connects with the people that they want to connect with. Because first and foremost, no matter what, that's the first thing they're going to check out. Right. Everyone, checks out the profile right away. So that's the number one thing. If the profile is not optimized, everything else is it makes it more difficult to engage with the people that they want to engage with. And then the second thing is useful content. Because if they're not providing that useful content, then they're not seen as as that contributor to their community. They're not getting that validation. Like, can I trust this person? Does this person know what they're talking about? Right. So that's more indirect engagement. The profile and the content is more indirect. And then it comes to figuring out what's the right type of campaign for them, whether it's an email campaign or it can be a campaign through direct messaging. But it's really being strategic and mindful about what you want to say to your potential clients as far as connecting. Because as you probably get bombarded with DMs saying, here's my services, and they give you a whole long list of services. And, that's pretty much out. That is not the way we're going to connect in this new era.
I
So
know.
it's like, how do you build that relationship to gain that trust? So it's pretty much multi-channel. Like there's not just one thing. It's pretty much like layered on, okay, this is what you do. And then how do you take that initiative to create that relationship? And a lot of it is like, for example, I'll give you a good example. When someone is on a post, right? And they post something, it's LinkedIn is, people think it's just transactional, right? But LinkedIn is really looking at engagement. And it's not just your content, but the more you engage on LinkedIn genuinely with people in your community, not just like random, like I'm just gonna randomly like these posts and comment. But when they see you're really engaging with the community that complements what you're doing and align what you're doing, you get like a boost. So it's also looking and seeing like what people are interested in, right? So if let's say you're looking at the healthcare industry and you're looking to see what is it that they're interested in, how do I find these people? It's engaging on other influencer and other thought leaders posting and seeing how they are responding through comments, and if they're liking their comments, and you're like, that's the person that I know they'll connect with me because I see based on that comment that's what they're interested in, and I'm aligned with that, so I'll be able to provide some insight for them. So it's really like a multi-channel strategy, and it
Mhm.
takes time. It does take time and patience, but you're being genuine in a sense that you're just not blindly reaching out to someone and saying, hey, would you like my service, or would you like to jump on a call? You're looking and seeing like how they're engaging on LinkedIn, how they're commenting, to really get an insight to say, you know what, this person could really utilize my service, or I can just contribute something to them. And that's more meaningful than just like, let's jump on a call, right? So now
Mhm.
I'm working more on a need of focusing on people who either want to get started on LinkedIn and they don't know where to begin, or they've been on LinkedIn, but they're not seeing the results that they want.
That's pretty cool, and I think
Yeah.
LinkedIn. I think you're tapped into a really good area because I mean LinkedIn is growing like crazy, and business owners no more than ever realize that they have to be there. They have to be
Mhm.
online. They have to put their
Mhm.
face out there, and business owners, they need help because I'm telling you, I've spoken with a bunch of healthcare practitioners, business owners, and they're like, oh yeah, I just set up a LinkedIn account. I don't even know how to get
Yeah,
back there, right? So
I know. And those are the ones that I'm grabbing. It's like you started this page. It's just that because I've dealt with that. When I first went on LinkedIn in 2021, I was like, whoa. It was just like overwhelming. And LinkedIn was actually easier to get engagement back then. And it was still overwhelming. So I could imagine someone getting on LinkedIn now. It could be overwhelming. And without a system and without the right guidance, you could get swallowed up and just say, you know what, I'm going back to Instagram, I'm going back to Facebook, I'm on TikTok. This is
yeah,
too much.
it is. The thing with me and LinkedIn, right? I play a lot on LinkedIn. I like the platform, but it's very annoying sometimes. Like everyone is trying to sell something. You look at your
Mm,
inbox and they don't even know you. That's why I really like. I want to commend you on this. I really like when I connected with you. I like your
mm,
message. Just say, what, like you ask a question like, what made you want to connect with me or something like that.
mhm, mhm.
And I kind of like
Right.
that because I like that approach because typically when I, have some connection, when I, connect with different professionals, they were like immediately, this is what I do, blah, 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 I mean, I want to sell you this, buy this from me. And they don't even,
Yeah.
they don't even ask the question,
Mhm,
try to build that relationship to
mhm.
you know, I could be comfortable to give you my business. And
Right.
people don't
Right.
realize that that's how business works. People do business who they like and trust, and you
Mhm.
can't just immediately try to sell someone something.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it kind of like, and it's kind of like a rookie, right? It's like, people always make fun of a rookie and be like, oh, that's a rookie move, right? And I wonder like if most of the people that are doing it is because they're new and they're like not necessarily hungry, but they're new and that's the only way they know how to approach it, is to do that. But I take that and I change it into a learning experience because I post a lot about that. Like, it's like, you don't just walk up to someone and ask them on a date,
Mhm.
right? It's like,
Right.
or ask them to
Exactly.
be their partner. It's like, it takes time, right? You want to get to know them. So I use it as a learning experience, but yeah, definitely. Like sometimes that's why one of the reasons when I connect with someone, especially if they do a request from me, I say, what motivated you to want to connect with me?
Mhm.
Because that way I can see where they're coming from, what their interests are, and it kind of helps to just like streamline that conversation. But
Mhm.
yeah, sometimes I connect with people and they just give me like this long
Oh, yes.
biography, and
Yes.
I'm just like, whoa, and I just, and that's why I started doing what I'm doing, because I'm like, whoever this person is, chances are they have great potential to give
Mhm.
something and contribute something great to someone. But because they have the wrong approach, they're not going to reach the people that they need to reach.
Mhm.
And they're spending time on LinkedIn doing this. So it's like, I really, that's why I say, this is something where I could really help people to learn how to do it. It's like cultural differences. You go to one country, there's a
Mhm.
certain way you communicate. It's like LinkedIn is a different way. There's a there's a different way as far as like how you connect.
No,
So
you, and you're
yeah.
spot on. You're spot on. And another pet peeve of mine, another thing that I hate is at times automation is good. Automation is really good because I use
Mhm.
automation. We all use automation, but those auto responses, you can
Mhm.
know that it's an automated
Mhm.
thing, you know?
Right,
Sometimes
right, right.
sometimes I'll get the mission, get this message, I'm Andre Wright. The message will say, "Hi, Wright,"
I know.
or something like that. Oh, that that's
Yeah.
natural communication. It's much
Mhm.
an automated thing. It's some AI bot or something trying to send you
Right.
a message. And as business owners, we just have to be careful. Those are some of the things that I think people definitely
Mhm.
need help with. You know.
Right. Right. You have to be mindful of the bugs because it works when it works,
Hmm.
but you don't want to get caught, because then then again you could lose that opportunity because they're like, oh, I'm just putting this bot. And that's why I train my clients like how to do things manually. Even though it takes time, it's worth it because it's more about quality and not quantity. Like, you could reach out to 1,000 people a day, but if you're not connecting with them, how effective is it?
Yes.
Whereas if you take time to have a good conversation and engage with just 20 people a day, you're only looking to get X amount of clients. You don't need to have 100 conversations.
Yeah, yeah. And first impressions last, right? First
Right,
impressions last.
right.
So if the
Mm-hmm.
first impression is that, this person doesn't even know my name and they're trying to sell something, then it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a big turnoff. Hey, talk to me about like your process. Say I'm coming to
Mm-hmm.
you and say, "Hey Melinda, I want you to help me with the with my LinkedIn profile. I want to get more engagement on my profile. Nothing is happening. I have almost, a thousand people connection, but when I post
Mm-hmm.
like crickets, nothing is happening.
Mm-hmm.
What's your
Mm-hmm.
process?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, pretty much what I explained.
Mhm.
Like, what I'll do is I'll do a LinkedIn audit, right, to see where they are, and to see if they're interested. Because the thing is, it's a two-way street. Like, there's a lot. Most of the services I do is done for them.
Mhm.
But I'm now looking into doing more of a train the trainer. So instead of doing it for them, I find it's more empowering if I train them on how to do it, so
Mhm.
they really understand the concept of it, right? Because I could go in and find connections for them, but it's really more effective if they learn how to do it. But pretty much it's what I advise. Like, I'll do the profile for them, optimize the profile for them, and then come up with a content strategy for them. And then I'll basically lay out like an engagement strategy. Like, you should connect to X amount of people. And then once they connect, here's, a sample script of what you would do to reach out. And I also do email campaigning as well. So a certain population that's appropriate, I'll put them into an email campaign as long as they get their permission. And then they will start building up their email list to keep in contact with them real time, which is helpful because by doing that, they're able to get them out of the noise, out of LinkedIn, and engage with them through email. So, so it's more of a long-term engagement that way.
So basically, right
yeah.
now, you're actually, if a client comes to you, you're getting the credentials, you're taking over the account, you're doing everything. That's what.
Right. Except I don't DM, like one thing I make sure now, learning from experience, is they have to know that it's a commitment on their end for them to go on their profile and engage with other people, answer your DMs. Like, because I am not you. I cannot speak for you. I cannot
Right.
connect. And to me, it's like it's kind of it's kind of like superficial doing it that way. So I tell them, like, it's not going to work unless you know you could commit to engage. If you don't have time to go on LinkedIn for at least 30 minutes a day, let's not do this, because you're not going to see the results, and you're going to come to me and say, Melinda, I'm not seeing results. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I told you weren't going to see results. So I don't want to take you on as a client if you're not going to do your part. Right. So, so it's a done for you, but I am segueing in September, like going towards the summer into the fall. I do want to work, like, as far as like the niche in that sector, I know I want to work with like marketing executives, marketing VPs, sales VPs, depending on what they do. Sometimes they do both, and train them on how they can do this for their company. So it's like a train the trainer, and then I'll have like support. They need to come back to me for help or updates, whatever's changing with LinkedIn. We can have like that ongoing support. So,
yeah, and I'm definitely seeing a trend in that direction, giving you the strategy. They're more of teaching you how to, or giving you all the,
right,
doing the assessment and saying, this is the direction you need to go, more than getting into the weeds and doing it for you.
Yeah. And it sounds good at first, like, and you definitely get more income because you're doing it for them, right? And a lot of times people don't have the time. A lot of business owners, especially CEOs, they don't have time to do it themselves. But then I'm looking at my quality of life, and I'm like, looking at it, I'm like, okay, like, if I decide to go on vacation, like, I have to make sure that I have a VA or have an assistant. If I get sick, like, they're going to be like, where are my connection requests? Where am I? So it's like, you really have to be mindful. Like, that's why I would only take on a certain amount of done for you clients, because if God forbid something happens, I could have like my VA or my assistant like take over while, I handle whatever I need to handle. Right. Because the show goes on, whether something happens or not. So I only would take on a certain number a year, because I wouldn't want to be in a situation like, oh my gosh, I have to hire people and train them to do this to manage their accounts. So, yeah.
What's your ideal client right now?
Right. Well, I'm focusing really on the marketers, like the people who are marketers, but they just don't know how to get them. They're not good marketers on LinkedIn. So they're good at what they do. Right. And their company is like, let's get into LinkedIn, but they're like, I don't know how. Right. So it's like helping people that are marketers or sales marketers or they're in business development, and they're in charge of bringing in new business. They want to utilize LinkedIn, but they don't know where to start. So that's pretty much like who I'm focusing on now, as far as helping. Yeah.
Right. Do you typically do like any webinars or any of that nature?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have one coming up May 23rd. And that it's going to be a workshop covering how to basically make over your LinkedIn profile so you get better engagement, and it helps with your posting. So, because people don't realize that your profile has a lot to do with how your posts perform.
Yeah, of course. It has a lot to do with that. So perfect.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So
It was a pleasure speaking with you, and let's keep the communication.
Yeah. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you found this information useful. Please share this episode on social media and also visit our website at andreewright.com/podcast for more. And also leave us a review on Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, see you then.